Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome to this episode of First and Goal. This week's episode, we of course have Primetime 000. He's our 5-time First and Goal champ, 16-time SML champ, the GOAT. It's lit, it's fire. We've got the little doo-doo Dookie himself with his Lamar Jackson NYT jersey on. And then we've got Mike FML. He's over there on the right side of your screen. How's it going, guys?
Thanks for having us.
Pretty good.
All right. So
I am very honored to be here with Prime.
I seen Dookie got his tag on his jersey. He's gonna return that right away because he put that on his credit card. I saw.
Never.
All right. So we're gonna jump right into topic one. So topic one is going to be, do PS5 users have an advantage over the PS4 users? And we'll start with Prime on this one. What do you think, Prime? Get a little swig of your chocolate milk and let's see what you got.
Yeah, we're actually drinking V8 juice. We want to drink healthy to put a good standard for Mike FML on the show. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, which is people are going to enjoy the benefits right now of the PS5 on Madden for loading screens, for maybe cycling through their play calls. But really, the difference in the gameplay is not going to be that much. People just like excuses. People will blame their hardware. They'll blame their monitors in Madden. Hey, I've played with crappy internet, no better than 15 megabyte download, and I've won 16 championships off it. So I hate when people use that excuse. There's really no difference at all. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Not a big difference at all. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'd agree. I've played 2 games now, one versus the Jets and one versus the Rams. I didn't really notice any difference. Actually, if anything, the controller seemed harder to get used to. What do you think, Mike?
I more or less agree. I don't think it's any sort of drastic change for either situation, but I do feel like, and it's probably placebo, that I'm feeling a little less bullshit on the PS5 side. I don't feel like I'm getting the bad end of animations quite as much. Once I got used to the sticks and everything, it seemed like it feels a little bit better for me. But again, a lot of this could be placebo, and I want to go on the record saying I don't think it's a big difference either way.
All right. And what about you, Dookie?
Did that distract you, Mike? Did that distract you, that little Debbie right there?
Well,
not a big sugar guy, bro. It's not going to do anything for me.
Well, as the only PS4 user still, honestly, I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. Like, yeah, you're going to load up faster, but in terms of like in-game gameplay, there's no difference. Bro, I'm not going to notice anything at all. I already know. So I don't really worry about it.
I would like to add one thing for Prime. He was mentioning in his own situation that historically his connection issues, his sort of, corn-fed Indiana stuff that is not, so it's something he worked through. But at the same time, right now he's on the downtrend despite all that stuff. That back then wasn't because of anything there. It was just because of the lack of the people around you. The quality of competition's gotten better, and we've seen the results now.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, good
for
one.
Sure.
Really creative there, Mike.
All right, so we're going to move on to topic 2. Will the PS5 hurt SML activity? With guys getting the PS5 and playing different games, and maybe Madden not quite being, I don't know, the best version of the game that we've seen in the last couple years, do you think it's going to hurt activity in the SML? Mike, we'll start with you.
Not at all. I mean, we are still moving at a great pace. We very rarely hit the actual advanced point in time. This last week, we kind of did, but it wasn't that big of a deal. SML's always had a history of doing the best and focusing on our games first, and I think that's going to be the same thing. I don't think it's going to impact anything whatsoever.
All right. What about you, Dookie?
Yeah, I don't see any issue.
Oh,
really.
It stinks.
I don't I don't see any issue because games are still getting played at a high rate. It was only 1 week where it was like kind of sluggish, but even then, like, it was still like games were being played at a very high rate. So honestly, I think it's really more of just, I wouldn't even say, yeah, I don't really see any issue, actually.
No? All right, Prime, what do you think? I've noticed that you gored out the inactives, and that list was pretty big the other day.
I think it'll have an initial blow for the first week or two, because that's when the most people are switching is right away. It'll be a slow trickle after that. I think we're already past the big blow, but as for long-term effects or anything like that, look, the SML is a high-intensity league, and you kind of need to be a game nerd and be able to have a lot of time dedicated anyway. So I don't think it's going to have any lasting effects just because the type of guys we have in the league. So yeah, I think initially, people are going to take a step back, but after that, after probably start of December, I don't see any issues at all.
All right. So let's move on to topic 3. Topic 3, we had that new update. They promised, the franchise is the heart of our game, and we're going to update it and fix things. So we had our first big franchise update. What do you guys think about it? Dookie, we'll start with you.
Trash opinion coming in here.
Well, I actually like the update, to be honest with you, because it's given every actual individual user more control over their team, which is what they were aiming for in terms of being able to choose your own abilities, even though we don't, we don't allow that. We don't allow you to change your abilities and everything of that nature. But I like it personally because it gives everybody more range, and you can probably see different combinations of different abilities with different players on different teams. And then also the playoff bracket, very needed because I don't like doing math and I'm terrible at it. So it makes it very easy for me to know who I'm going to be possibly seeing in the future and who would have home field in that type of situation.
Yeah, I definitely like that playoff bracket. What do you think, Prime? We'll go to you.
Other than the playoff bracket, I think the update is complete trash. EA, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They give you half what you want. Why would you add an ability for anybody to not only adjust abilities, but nothing shows up on the transaction log? That is just a nightmare scenario for commissioners. Maybe cheese mutt heads like Dookie like that because they can do something under the table, stuff like that. They're loving it. He's loving it. He's got his backwards Lamar Jackson jersey on. But at the end of the day, it's just a trash update. It gives me more headache. The app, my companion app, doesn't even work. What more can I expect from EA but more of the same?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Prime. What do you think, Mike?
I've got a little bit of agreement for both these guys. I've got it broken down into 3 different spots here. The good stuff is the quality of life stuff. You got the playoff bracket, career stats, retirement improvements. That's all good. That stuff should have never left the game. It should have always been there, should be in the game moving forward. The next is the dev trait regressions. I think that's going to be good if it's working properly with EA. You never know. But if it does work as expected and it's not like the bars aren't too high to maintain certain levels, I think that's a good thing to have in, because you don't want to see 68 overall superstar X Factor developments. It doesn't make any sense. So it makes sense to kind of have the up and down there and there. I agree with Prime, though. X Factor customization, horrible, awful, shouldn't be there. As from an admin point of view, it's very hard to track. For me and Primer specifically, I have to write down every superstar trait, keep track of it, check on things every now and then again, just to make sure nobody's doing anything funny. So that part's bad. Rest should be good if done properly.
Yeah, it seems weird to me that editing a player's ability doesn't show up in the player edit.
I do want to throw in there that dynamic regression. I saw it on Twitter about 30 minutes before we got on here. Jordan Love was on the Lions for whatever reason, and this guy had 4,700 yards, 42 touchdowns, 5 picks, 28 years old, and he regressed from superstar to star dev. So EA,
see, that's what I was saying. If it's working properly, it could be good, but I don't trust EA to do it.
No, nothing EA implements works properly. So why this would be any different, I don't know. All right, so we're going to move on to topic 4. Topic 4, what happened to last year's playoff teams? We had teams like the Eagles, and then I'm talking like borderline playoff or made the playoffs. Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, a little bit of an NFC East theme there. But then you had some other teams like the Seahawks almost made it in, and now he's got like 1 win. What do you think happened to those teams? And we'll start with you this time, Prime.
Yeah, I think that a lot of those teams were benefiting from, some guys are just kind of slow to start the cycle, some of the better players, and it was just in due time. I think on that list, Grams is the one guy who you can say, all right, this guy's probably a perennial playoff guy. Other than that, I mean, Tiny Titan, I don't really need to give an explanation on why that guy's struggling. October, he plays you and me twice a year. Roland Kuh, I mean, listen, the guy's his dad's biggest disappointment. He stays up late. He watches meets just thrash him in the playoffs. It's just all bad. It's just all bad. None of these guys are elite players, and it's showing, except for Grams. I think Grams will turn it around, and maybe Chris. Other than that, I'm not surprised.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
I actually did a lot of research on this one. Hat tip to Polly. Just a shout out for our boy Polly about the research on this one. This is kind of broken down into a couple different spots here. Seahawks, Texans, they definitely overperformed last year. Right now, they're probably performing to their true level. So they are kind of written off in that front. Last year was a good year for them. This year, it's kind of stabilizing to where they should be. Eagles and Cowboys, I think they're more of a victim right now of their own schedules because they are facing a little bit harder schedule this year with the AFC West and NFC South compared to the AFC North and NFC West last year. And of course, the NFC West last year had not RD at this point in time. So that's a lot better there, especially we've got our guy Dookie here in the NFC South taking over a spot there, sitting 10-0 right now. So that's a part there. Bears, I think this one is interesting because he's probably a victim of his roster structure right now. Chicago's a roster that gets old quick, and I think that's catching up to him because he is currently underperforming on defense plus 12. He's allowing 12 more points per year this year than he did last cycle, which is really killing him because that's his calling card is his defense, and it's not getting it done. The one thing that I think everybody has wrong is I think Rowan's doing fine. Cowboys are not Cowboys, but the Giants are sitting here 6-5, leading the division right now, undefeated inside their own division, and still 5-2 in the conference too. I think the Giants are going to be just fine. They're a little bit better on defense this year, a little worse on offense, but I think it's pretty much par for the course. So Giants are fine. Rest pretty standard, but it's mostly due to schedule variances and that sort.
Okay. All right, Dookie is the newcomer in the league. What do you think? Man, a few words.
McDonald's Wi-Fi is catching up to him right here.
Yeah. Dookie's got himself muted.
Tiny.
Oh, there we go.
He's in probably. Oh, say it again.
Oh, wait, you were muted from the beginning.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can still hear you.
Wait, y'all don't hear me?
He's got to lose points
Y'all hear me?
first. Yeah,
yep, we can hear you.
While we're waiting for Dookie, I'd like to add one more special shout out to Tiny Titans, who apparently only gets it up for Meats and Prime, because looking back at his schedule this year, it seems like he's getting blown out by everybody except for Meats and Prime. So apparently he just has a fetish for those two.
All right, Dookie, you back? I can see you. All right, so much like Lamar Jackson, he can't get it done at the end.
Well,
So,
all right, there you go.
That's going
Poor
to do
guy.
it for this episode of First and Goal. And now our pictures are all messed up because Dookie left early. But
Who am I right now?
you're actually Dookie right now, and Prime is you. And
That's unfortunate. I've really taken a life downgrade right now.
yeah. Oh, here comes Dookie back just in time to see that Prime has 15 points, Dookie has 9, and Mike FML wins with 16 points. So, Mike, these
Knocked
30
off the
seconds
champ. Let's
are all
go.
yours.
I'd like to take this time to really take a shout out to our guys, KJ, NYT, and Tiny. It's been a rough week for them. They ride so high, and they're so hopeful and everything. But at the end of the day, their Titans just suck ass and continue to suck ass and get beat by the Colts, and it's really unfortunate for them. But it's great for Prime and I. So Colts hat for those guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks, and I'm sure we'll beat your ass again.
All right. So you heard it here. They're going to beat the Titans. So that's going to do it for this episode of First and Goal. Dookie again, MIA. Don't know where he went. Kind of disappeared like Lamar Jackson.
Bye, Dookie. We love you.
Anyway, so catch next week's episode of First and Goal. Thanks for being on, guys.
See ya.
It's been a good one, guys. Later.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.